I was very blessed to shoot that in George Lucas's original studio out in Marin County. That was the home theater, and as I walked into the door of that theater, it said, Home of THX. And then when I recorded the audio for that, I sat in the studio. It was about half the size of this black area, where Lucas and Spielberg conceptualized Jurassic Park and Star Wars. So I'm very passionate about innovation. I'm very passionate about being a disruptor. And that's pretty much my platform that I share in the industry. I tell people, don't listen to me. Don't listen to anybody. Figure it out for yourself. It's your life, it's your space, it's your race. And when you lay your head down at the pillow at the end of the day, you gotta be cool with what you did, right? Yeah. And I think the challenge that I see, like sheep being led to slaughter, too many of us behave that way. Now, why is that indigenous to our industry? Well, I was a white belt. I stood in line. I want to please my instructor. How high do you want me to jump? How many push-ups do you want me to do? Yes, sir. I will absolutely pay you for lessons. I will teach for free, and I will clean the school. Tell me, what else do you need me to do? And that perpetuates. But you have to realize now, you're entrepreneurs, you're small business owners. You need to shift that mindset dramatically, because if you don't, you'll always suffer from the victim mindset. That consultant sucked. He burned me. Who's ever felt that before? Raise your hand. Okay, it's your fault. It's your fault. It's not my fault. It's not Shane's fault. It's not our fault. It's your fault. You know why? Because you don't know thyself. If you know who you are and you have a clear set of values, then the information you take in will be based on fulfilling those values. There's so much information out there. And like Roland Osborne says, we're drowning in information and we're starving for wisdom. And that wisdom is the why. Why are you here? What's your purpose? My whole purpose today is to be home every night at 6:30 for dinner, to take my kids to soccer, take them to their karate class, do their homework, sit and watch basketball games with my son. That is my purpose. And everything I do is cultivated around that. That's it. Not as grand as people would think it is, but it serves my life today. So I'm going to encourage you to do that. Spend a lot of time in self-development. Learn who you are and pay close attention to every message that's out there. Because there's so much great information, but all of it's useless unless you know who you are. And whatever that is. When I went through my most challenging times, I stood in a forest. I beat drums naked with guys. I stared at a white wall at the Zen Center for hours at a time. I did everything on a path of self-discovery. But once I knew who I was and who I am, it was easy. Everything just flows. It flows really well. So we've gotten a lot of technology, right? Digital marketing, all the different things that was shared with us. But what I'm really passionate about today, and what Stephen asked me to speak about, was community-based service marketing. It's very unique the way we do things, and I'll get into that in just a moment. Social media and all that is there. But who can tell me why? Why is it that we have the attention span of 3 seconds, somebody said? Less than a fish? Why is that? Who can tell me why? Sir?
You get so much information pulling you away from it.
Good. Yeah, that's a good answer. Why? Sensory overload? Okay.
We've lost the personal.
Human connectivity is the number one reason. And we are in a position to amplify human connectivity at such a high level. So with all the social media and the digital marketing, be mindful of that. And I was. Why? Because everybody does digital marketing. All of us. You know me. For the lack of a better word, I'm a social media whore. You guys know that. I built my whole consulting and everything I do based upon that. But what I loved about growing up, I started martial arts in 1967. 5 years old. I'll be 57 in 2 weeks. Is that my papa had a school and we lived above it. And back then in 1967, nobody made money in the martial arts. Nobody. It was purely culture-based. What was amazing is that you'd go there and get the crap beat out of you and want to come back the next night and do it again and do it again. And that's a pretty amazing culture. How many cultures do you know where you beat the crap out of everybody in your tribe and they come back the next night and the next night? That's an amazing culture, is it not? Right? No stripes, no belts, no whistles, no parents' night out, nothing. Just pure culture based upon one common goal, being a better martial artist. So I bring that with me into everything that I do. And fortunately, I was born in the time, no cell phones, no personal computers. You know, I had to use a paper map. I didn't have GPS. So for the kids who were born into technology, you know nothing about that. But fortunately, having been there and leveraging technology to a hilt today, I know the yin and the yang. And I think there needs to be a balance. And that big balance that we can create is the human connectivity that lacks because of social media, because of YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, all the rest. So life is a balance, and isn't that what we teach? So one of my best role models in my whole life was my grandma. My grandma taught me great service is rooted in good values. Now my grandpa died in World War II. My grandma brought 7 kids over from the Philippines. 7. Helped all of them buy homes. She owned a home. And all she owned was a couple of little coffee shops in what was called the Tenderloin in San Francisco. Pretty bad part of town. And as a kid, all I was allowed to do was push a broom because I couldn't cook or anything at that age. But what was amazing about that was anybody who came into that restaurant was fed. And this one particular person, his name was Bill. He was a World War II veteran, and they called him Mud. Because we call it post-traumatic stress syndrome now. He obviously suffered from that. He'd come in every day like clockwork, and anytime I was in this restaurant, there was Mud. He'd sit at the end of the counter, talk to nobody. He would have a hamburger cooked really well. I mean, this thing was like a hockey puck. No ketchup, no mayo, nothing. No tomatoes, no lettuce. Put that burger in front of them with French fries and a Coke. And back then, Cokes were in bottles. Anybody remember that? Coke in a bottle, right? And I'd be watching this guy eat every time, and no one would say, and he'd get up and walk out. And I'd be like, whoa, grandma, this guy doesn't pay. And she'd look at me in this very thick Filipino accent, and all she would say to me is, never mind. So what was she really saying to me when she was saying never mind? What was she trying to instill in me? Sir? Taking care of people. Serving people at the highest level. And if we serve with the subliminal agenda that I want to make money off you, is that honest and transparent? No. So write that down for a minute. We are servants of the community. That is what we do. That is it. That is it. And if you begin and end there, you can be extremely profitable. Extremely profitable. But if I always go with their ulterior motive, how much can I squeeze out of this person? How much money am I going to make? People will see right through that. I mean, remember, root this all in the human connectivity. So from that, I didn't open up my first real school until the year 2000. And the reason being was I owned other businesses very successfully. I've been a small business owner since 22 years of age. So I understand small business really well. I'm a 3rd generation small business owner. So we'll put that on the table. But for me personally, based upon my values, and again, it's only for me. I'm not saying my way is better than another way. So be very clear about that. Be very clear about that. But I don't like all of the salesmanship. I never felt good sitting in my uniform trying to close somebody. It just didn't, I remember I lived above a karate school. I grew up in a karate school. I rode my bike on the floor because it was too dangerous to go play outside. So for me, very innately, it just didn't make sense at all. So I couldn't do that. That's just me. So today, because of my grandma, where's that slide? Oh, there we are. Okay, I'll get to that. I thought I dropped it out. If we focus on selling, I believe we attract a consumer. Right? If we focus on selling, we attract a consumer. And I bought a car for my wife recently. Before I walked in that dealership, I knew everything about that car. I knew what I was going to pay. I was right down. He tried to sell me. I ended up going somewhere else. I ended up buying it. But it's just a transaction. So if we focus on selling, we attract a consumer. But if we focus on service, this is what I want. We create a loyal customer. Who has that mom that's in your school right now. She has 3 kids coming to your school, pays for all 3 of them. She volunteers for Parents' Night Out, Easter party. She's one of your best ambassadors. Who has a mom like that? Imagine if you had 1,000 of them. Read the book Tribes by Seth Godin. Imagine if you had 1,000 of those types of moms. And we all have one. So we have one, that's data, that we can have more. That's what I invest in. That's a better investment for me. A much better investment. So from all this, this is what we've culminated in as of today. We have 2 locations, 1,003 active students. We did 2.15 million, Zach, not 3.2. Not yet. We did 2.15 million. And I function at about a 38% net. And that's what I take home. No contracts, no upgrades, no enrollments, no we don't even have a cancellation fee. We don't have bell testing fees. We do none of it. We don't have an office. We don't have a program director. None of it. People think, wow, you guys are crazy. No, we're not. Because data doesn't lie. So it's just proof that you can do whatever you want. You can do whatever you want. Tell that to Elon Musk. People laughed at him. Now we have rockets that actually land back on Earth and we can reuse. Right? We have an electric car that people thought was, something out of the future, and it's here. You can do whatever you want. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. Do we all agree? Yeah? So that's vital. That's vital to us. But what I do spend a lot of money on, and time, and resources is number 1, curriculum. I spend a lot of time on curriculum development. Why? It's the food in my restaurant. And you hear me always talk about your school is like a restaurant. Because it's a service. We're a service no different than a restaurant in many ways. So number 1 is curriculum. And I'm passionate about that. Very passionate. So I spend a lot of time and resources on that. Second is my team. I got a 27-year-old kid right now. I pay $100K a year, 401K, 2 weeks vacation with pay. And he's a happy guy. He's happy. So my team is my freedom. Without my team, I have no freedom. Do we agree? And somebody told me a horror story. They work for somebody, and I would love to talk to that school owner and share with him, you don't take care of your team. That's the guy who goes down the street and opens up half a block from you. All right? You can do that, but I choose not to. Okay? So let's get into this. People love to buy, but they hate to be sold. How many of you agree with me on that? Okay? Great. So stop selling. Simple enough. Right? Human connectivity. People love to buy. I know I do. But we hate to be sold. So stop selling people. And that's what I love about Market Muscles. They don't sell you. They create that human connectivity. I just did a testimonial, and that was my only comment. I think what's unique about Stephen's websites, they do bridge some of that digital gap. And there is human connectivity within that digital domain. And that's innovative stuff. It's very cool. People buy based upon emotion. That's not new data. We all know that, right? We all know that. Nothing new. So ask yourself, with everything that you do, are you creating that emotion when you talk to somebody? And so I had a conversation in the roundtable yesterday, and the first thing I said is, here's one of my main questions to every school owner. Why do I want to come to your school versus Joe Karate down the street? And the instant this person looked at me and goes, well, I would turn that around and ask you a question. Salesmanship 101. I've read that book. And everybody today, they can see that a mile away. They can see a mile away. So be mindful of that. Okay? Be very mindful of that. Stop marketing from fear and cultivate from love. All right? It amazes me. I can watch the Super Bowl and some guy can pop a beer and drink it, and this blonde, her hair's flowing, suddenly walks up to him. Now, I don't drink. Randy, can you help me with this? Does that happen when you drink a beer? Every single time? But do you see where I'm going with that? But it created an emotion, didn't it? It's not realistic. It's just like the other one, the puppy, monkey, baby. Remember that one? Puppy, monkey, baby. And this thing, I'm looking at this thing going, what the hell is that? You know, and it's a dog face, a pug face with a monkey body and baby diaper and legs. I'm going, what does this have to do with Mountain Dew? Nothing. It's about creating emotion. And like Bruce Lee said, you know, you miss out on the heavenly glory. It's all about the emotional content. The emotional content. That's the magic that lacks and why we have a 3-second attention span. If somebody can bridge that gap, maybe AI is going to do that. Maybe AI is really going to make chatbots work. If they can bridge that, we're in big trouble. We're in big trouble because we become obsolete. So, cultivate from love, because out of all the emotions, isn't the most powerful emotion love? Yes or no? I still want to believe that. I still want to believe that. I still want to believe that. And like Gary Vee said, I like a lot of Gary Vee stuff. What is the ROI on caring? Who can tell me? What is your return on investment for caring? There? Yeah, it's hard to quantify. It's hard to quantify. So I don't spend a lot of time on the ROI. Be a business that cares. Why? Because nobody cares what you know until they know that you care. We all agree? That's a standard. It's been around forever. Be a business that cares. So how do we do that? How do we do that? Hi, 3 classes in boxing gloves for $19.99. Who's done that before? Just me? Nobody's ever done that before? Take ownership. Who's done that before? Don't do that. You know, and that's part of success, is failure. I'm okay with trying new things. I'm not going to stand before you and profess something unless I tried it. Because then I'm just hypothesizing. And that's not healthy. So for us, I recognize I'm a brick and mortar location. Yeah? I was talking to this guy, he's going, well, I'm getting all these likes. Yeah, but they're from Africa and New Zealand. Who cares how many likes you have at your webpage, at your Facebook page? It means nothing. I'm really fixated on that 3 to 5 mile radius of my brick and mortar location. I'm fixated on that. Because we all know 85% of your business comes from how far away? What is it now? 3 to 5 miles. In the more rural areas, it might be more, right? So I invest heavy in the community. And I'm going to give you some good examples. Oh, there it is. See, I'm like you, Paul. I'm ahead of my slide. Like minds. That must mean something good. So what I saw that was taught to me in the industry is the opportunities we pretty much have are the demo team, school talks, and booths, right? No wonder we turn to digital media so heavily, right? What do we have? Demo team, school talks, and booths. It's very, very limiting. How many of you do school talks? I don't, because the line is this long. It's freaking long. And I'm going to be standing in that line for a decade. I got a brand new location, opened up, no students, rent is $14K a month. I'm going to stand in this line and wait my turn? That's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. So demo team, how hard is it to keep a demo team active, up to date, and find a place to book them? I get calls from the Warriors all the time. Come do your demo team at halftime of a Warriors game. That's freaking on the other side of the bay, 30 miles away. It's irrelevant. We're not doing that. We're not doing that. And then lastly, booths. You know, if I see one more booth with a spinning wheel in it, where I get glow chucks, but you won't give me the glow chucks because I have to come to your school first to get the glow chucks, I'm going to throw up. That's not creative. We're better than that. Think outside the box. Push the envelope, because all of you have greatness. Every one of you. Push that envelope, okay? So to me, it just became a simple thing, going back to my grandma, right? Anything that allows us to give back and make a difference. Because I'm not concerned about the ROI. I'm not concerned about collecting leads, any of that. But keep in your mind, how much money did I make last year? Right? I'm very conscious of my money. Don't get that wrong. People misinterpret that all the time. They think I'm some tree-hugging kumbaya guy just going, whatever, whatever. I know my bank accounts, my P&L, my investments, everything. I could tell you how much money is in my bank account right now. Please don't misinterpret that. That sound business allows me to live here. Sound business practices allows me to live here. And I would encourage that because this is where the good stuff happens. That is where the good stuff happens. All right. So you hear us, we talk about this a lot. Who is your customer avatar? Who are they for most of us? Kids. The kid is not my avatar. Who's the avatar? Moms. I want to know where they shop, eat, and play. In that 3 to 5 mile radius of my brick and mortar location, I want to know where they shop, eat, and play. And from that, I can determine how I'm going to market. Okay? So write it down. Where do you think your moms, not dads? Because I will tell you, I don't book any of my kids' activities. 0. All I'm told is take them to soccer at noon. Okay. Take her to dance camp. Okay. Drop them off at the basketball camp. Okay. That's what I do. So that's my best consultant are the moms in my school and my wife. Those are my best consultants. How many big movies will do focus groups and then go back and spend another $1 million re-editing the end of the movie? Happens all the time, right? Because that focus group gave them information. Did they go to some big ad agency and say, hey, take a look at this? Should we re-edit? No, they do focus groups. So I'm very passionate about focus groups. It's all the time. I'm the one who's bothering the mom. Hey, mom, what do you think of this ad? Hey, mom. What? Hi, mom, how you doing? What do you think about this? I want to post this. Hey, mom, what do you? So that's a constant because they are my avatar. Do you agree? They are that avatar. And talk about growing your culture. Man, the minute you ask a mom and it's something in your school, ooh, yeah, they love you. Who was at my last It's Time event? Who was there? Who talked to the woman that drives 100 miles to come to my school? 50 miles. Each way. Each way. She drives 50 miles every week to come to our school. And she was proud of it, wasn't she? She was proud of it. She moved away and couldn't find a school like ours. Because I invest in them.
She was also willing to participate at this time.
Yeah, she was willing to. This guy almost had her drive back the next day to sit in a panel discussion. And she was ready to do that. I said, no, don't do that to her. She's already driven 100 miles today. Don't make her come back tomorrow. Because she would have. She would have. That will beat any Facebook ad. That will beat anything that you do. Because they are the ambassadors. Every one of those moms are the ambassadors of our culture. And nothing speaks louder than that mom standing at the bus stop, picking up her kid going, hey, I go to One Martial Arts. Nothing. We still know that referral, word of mouth, is the most powerful way to get new business. Do we agree? So, logically, I'm going to invest in that more than anything that I do. So, how many of you know about my cotton candy machines? How many of you have won one of the cotton candy machines, courtesy of Rainmaker, membership systems and software? I got to plug that in there, right? Okay, and all it was a very simple thing. I was at the fair with my kids, and the longest line at this fair was the freaking cotton candy line. I'm like, it's just sugar. It's just sugar, right? But what I recognized was the experience. We talk about that connectivity, right? I looked over and this kid's like, and this guy's going, whew, spinning it, making it for you. I'm producing this on the spot. Talk about the Disney experience. Not stick it in a bag. Those of you guys who stick it in a bag and hand it to somebody, you're missing the boat completely. Make it in front of them. Guess what? It's more time consuming. Guess what? That line goes for a mile. Guess what? You have a captive audience. As I walk up and down the line and my one martial arts teacher going, hey folks, we're real sorry. We got a lot of people in line. We'll get right to you. One martial arts, one martial arts, one martial arts. Soft sell. I'm into subliminal marketing all day. So what do we do with this cotton candy machine? Back to school nights. How many are present at a back to school night? Go. Not very many of us, right? But if you're there selling, you'll never come back again. We started that really heavily in our community. The next year I look up, there's an orthodontist. Look up next year. There's a basketball camp. Look up next year. Pretty soon, back to school night is flooded with all these other vendors. But each year, we're the only ones that get to stay. You know why? I don't sell. We have all our rack cards and everything's up there. Acrylic box, put in, fill out this form with your name and email, and you could win a $100 Visa gift card. That's there. That's there. And everybody takes advantage of that. Because who doesn't want free money? Raise your hand. Who would like some free money? Raise your hand. There you go. Done day. $100 Visa gift card. Instant value. Instant value. So, open houses, school fundraisers, movies in the park. All summer long in our community, they do movies in the park. Who has that in their community? How many people come to those things? We average 500 people at a movie in the park. We have the longest line giving out cotton candy. Banners, everything. Believe me, it's branded. You know, it's kind of like when I go to a Warriors game, it's Oracle Arena. Is there somebody there selling me Oracle products? Yes or no? No. Brand awareness, co-branding, right? So I really get that from the big boys, and I value that greatly. All right, apartment complexes. We just had a cotton candy machine at a Halloween party at an apartment complex that houses like 5,000 families. 5,000. It was a huge complex. And we're out there at their Halloween thing, just drumming up cotton candy. PTA events. Big. Community events. Kids sporting events. Every soccer opening, Little League opening, we're there. Who sponsors a Little League team? $900. My name is big with my logo on the back of a kid's softball uniform. You know how many people are going to see that uniform in a given season? I guesstimated it. Something like 10,000. 10,000 for a $900 investment will see my name on the back of someone's baseball uniform. And how endearing is that to that mom whose kid is on that softball team? So, every school does a silent auction, crab casino night, spaghetti feed. Who knows about all those things? Anybody? Yeah. See, the problem, how many have challenges getting in with the PTA? Raise your hand. You know why? You know why? The schools in general. Because you show up in August in your freaking uniform on Teacher Development Day, the first day, with a box of freaking donuts. And you say, hi, how you doing? I know you're working hard with lesson plans. Here's some donuts. They see right through that. They know why you're there. You're there to sell your service. Be a business that cares. Just give because giving is the right thing to do. It's the right thing to do. Do you agree? It's the right thing to do. How many have a scholarship division in your school? We do. You got to show me your tax returns. I need to see an electricity bill to know where you live. And I need to see 2 pay stubs. And I need a letter of hardship. But if you can fulfill all that, we'll give you a scholarship in our school. And we do a certain number a year, of course. Because I understand each place on that mat is real estate. Every bit of that real estate needs to be accounted for and paid for. Imagine if I lived in a neighborhood where this house is $1 million, this house is free. This house is $500,000. This house is $200,000. What is that going to do to the overall property value in my neighborhood? It's going to bring it down. I want a consistency, 1.8 million, 1.8 million, 1.8 million, 1.8 million. That's what I want to see. So be careful with that when you give out scholarships. That's why I'm not big on the first 2 people are full price and the rest of the family is free. Stop it. I would encourage you to stop that one because it's real estate. And my real estate's expensive, right? So I want to be mindful of that. So here's an example. Now, how many contact points do we need before someone decides to interact with us? Who can help me with that? Is it 7? Stephen, you said 9 to 12, right? 7 to 10. Okay, so there was a crab feed at an elementary school, all right? First point, we sponsored the event. Every website, digital media, banners, flyers, everything they produced had our logo on it. That was $300. Comp childcare for attendees. What's the big problem with these events? Parents can't come because I can't find a babysitter. Well, guess what? One Martial Arts is offering free childcare in the form of a parent's night out for this event. PTA wants to charge for it. That's your gig, but it's a donation from us. All right? Donate services to the silent auction. If you donate 2 weeks in a uniform, nobody's going to buy that. You donate a premium birthday party valued at $450, that works. You donate a week of camp at $350 a week, that works. But you sit there and give them 6 2-week passes with a t-shirt, that's a huge miss. It's a huge miss. There's no value to them unless they are ready to take martial arts classes. You agree? Right. So, childcare. Their services. We did a birthday party, we did a camp, and my wife came up with a brilliant one, called it Mom's Day Out. They did a kickboxing class in the morning, followed by brunch at our school. Brilliant. Cotton candy machine at the event, at the actual crab feed, okay? Monetary donation during the auction. I did this last year at a silent auction. The guy was going, and I said, excuse me, because I take opportunity. I took the mic from him and said, One Martial Arts would like to donate $3,000 right now to the auction. Woo! Second guy stood up. Well, if you're going to do 3,000, I'm going to do 5. Another guy stood up. Well, if you're doing 5, I'm doing 8. I produced $20,000 in revenue in a matter of a minute and a half. Close to it. Add it up. Add it up. So this year, at this event with 450 parents, all the PTAs from the school district, plus the superintendent and everybody will be there, I get to stand up there for 5 minutes with a microphone and donate $5,000 and tell them why, as a business, I'm doing this. What's my ROI on that? Is it unconventional? Very unconventional. But we're special people, we should do that. And then, of course, my brand was on everything, digital, social, and print. So let me walk you through that, okay? Hey, babe, we got to go to this crab feed. All right. Where's the tickets? They're sitting by the front door. Okay. Crab feed. One Martial Arts. Okay. What about the kids, babe? What are we doing with the kids? We're going to drop them off. They've got some service for that. Okay, I drive. One Martial Arts. I walk in the door. As always, automatic pilot. I pull out my wallet. How much for? It's free? Courtesy of who? One Martial Arts. Oh. Okay, drop my kids off, right? Drive to the event. Banner, crab feed, One Martial Arts. All right, I go into the event. I sit down. Hey, babe, let's look at the stuff in the silent auction. We walk up to the tables. One Martial Arts. Cool. I'm eating my crab. Crazy little guy gets up on the microphone. I want to donate $3,000. One Martial Arts. Man, these guys are freaking everywhere. I get done eating. I look in the distance. It's glowing. There's a line. Let me go check it out. Cotton candy. Oh, I haven't had that since I was like 10. I get up to the front. One Martial Arts. Okay. Damn these guys. Then I go pick up my kid. My kid's happy. Got cool merit badges, right? Because I have the kids love life skill. Focus, discipline, boom. My kid's sweating, happy. Dad, I just broke a board. They taught me One Martial Arts. My number one team is my family. I got this cool badge that says teamwork. Dad, can I get a uniform to put my teamwork badge on it? One Martial Arts. Can you see that? Or am I crazy? Right? But it taught recognizing there is no box. There is no box. So you don't have to think outside the box because there is no box. Because what is everything I do rooted in? Values, human connectivity, and service. Because what is the ROI on caring? Man, when I heard that from Gary Vee, I almost wet my pants. Because it's superior to any form of digital marketing we could possibly do. And if we do those things, owning that 3 to 5 mile radius of my brick and mortar location, and they go to your Cool Market Muscles website, boom, they got a cool marketing plan like Paul's got in place. It seals the deal. It's like the fondant on the cake. It's done. But we already established a relationship of human connectivity before they ever went to my site. That's powerful. That's powerful. Inhouse events, we all know, parents' night out, free birthday parties, anti-bully stranger workshops, PTA meetings. People always ask me about that one. You know what we do with that? We go to the PTA president and we say, I know your attendance for parents coming to your PTA events are low. Why? Oh, because nobody can get a babysitter. Well, I'll tell you what we're going to do. I'd like to invite you to have your PTA meeting at our school. We have an activity room with tables and chairs, and I'll tell you what. Tell them to bring their kids, and my team will watch your kids on this mat doing confidence building, strange awareness, all that cool stuff while you have your PTA meeting. And we'll even serve pizza. What do you think the PTA says to that? Or I can show up in my uniform in August and go, "Hi, you want some donuts?" I can do that. But I don't. So the PTA has been a huge one. Community holiday events. Here's a great one. Did you know when kids go into kindergarten, they don't know any of the other parents? Is everybody aware of that? Yeah, probably some of you haven't had a kindergarten. I had two of them recently. We don't know the parents. We don't know the kids. We have no relationships built with them. So what did we do? We went to the PTA and said, "Hey, can we hold an event at our school? We'll call it a meet and greet." We had 80 sets of families at our last meet and greet for incoming kindergartners. What do you think? Right? Again, it's an untapped market. And I didn't go with an ulterior motive. All we did was serve. We had a call to action there. We had an acrylic box, win a week of camp. All our literature's laid out, but that's it. That's it. And again, it's relationships, right? It's so cool. And I've been married for 12 years, but it's so cool to see a girl, maybe dance with her, buy her a drink, and then don't ask for her phone number and walk out. Who's done that before? Just me? No one's ever done? Come on, Shane, I know you've done that once, right? That's cool. Instead of the guy who comes into the club and goes, "You want to dance? Oh, no. You want to dance? No. You want to dance? No. You want to dance? No." And that's what salesmen do. It's a numbers game, is it not? It's a numbers game. You say no, you say no. I'm going to keep going until I get a yes. I don't want to live like that. I don't think it's in line with the Buddha spirit. I don't think it's in line with martial arts. I don't. Some people do. Rock and roll. It's not my life. It's yours. It's yours. I got a buddy that sells. He's like a drug addict. When he gets ready to sell, he breaks out in a sweat. He's like, "Ooh, I'm going to close this deal. I'm going to close it. I'm going to close it." He does. And it's like, he's really good too. And he does well. More power to him. Boy and Girl Scouts, that's an obvious one. Kids sports teams, this is a big one we've tapped into, is there's a lot of teams when the season ends, right, by accident, I walk into a pizza parlor to pick up pizza to take home. And what do I see sitting in the corner? All these kids in their soccer uniforms with their parents, this guy's yelling, trying to give out trophies, and this, who's ever seen that? Okay, what did you do with it? You were in it. Well, what you should have done was went up to the coach and say, "Next season, what? We're having it at our school. Thank you very much," right? We're having that soccer party. And we did that with I can't tell you. Every Friday night I'm walking in there and going, but see, we time it. We have classes until 7:15. Guess what time the kids show up at our school for the soccer celebration? 6. And they're walking by class going, as they go into the activity room. They eat pizza, they do trophies, class is over, they come on the floor, and we run the kids for about an hour. Is that better than sitting in freaking Chuck E. Cheese eating pizza? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Again, these type of gold mines are in your community everywhere. Everywhere. You just have to shift your mindset. And what is our mindset? Human connectivity. What is our mindset? To serve. What is our mindset? Stop focusing on the ROI, because there's no ROI you can put on caring. And just that shift makes me walk around my community going, how can I help? How can I serve better? What more can I do? And I wake up at 2.15 million last year. I built my consulting business that way. I have a 6-figure consulting business. How many of you spoken to me on the phone for free? Go. There you go. Do I give you my time freely all the time as much as I can? Go. Okay, there you go. But I have a 6-figure consulting business, please. I've done Facebook, Stanford Health. I've done Lululemon. I'm a Lululemon guy now. Look at a pant shirt. Believe me, I understand. But as my grandma taught me, never mind. You serve everybody. You serve everybody. Can I get a yes, sir? Yes, sir. Cool. All right? So the kids sports team is just a new one we're nurturing. And that's growing really fast for us. Super powerful. And then this is a big one. How many of you think summertime sucks? Who thinks summer suck? No school talks, no demo team, no booth. All right? All right? How many of you do day camps? Tell me you do camps during the summer. Yeah, we're booked over $100,000 for 2019 already because of My Studio, the app. We took pre-bookings and at a great discount. It's already flying. So I said, summertime, all right. No school talks, no booths, no demo team, no sports teams. Everybody's out. So where are our avatars during the summer? Where are they? If they're not on vacation, where are they? Where? Park. Thank you, ma'am. They're in the park. So here I am Sunday with my kids playing on the play structure. Off in the distance, I look. 2 people holding balloons. Like a fair, right? Like the circus. Big balloons, helium balloons. What do they say? One martial arts. Got a jam box. Everything is awesome. Can't stop the feeling. Right? You're hearing this music blaring. Right? And this guy's dressed as Kung Fu Panda. It's like Disney. And my team's got fruit snacks, organic, of course, with very low sugar. Organic fruit snacks stapled to a rack card. And we find one free class works really well for us. Really well. We don't do 19.99s, 2 weeks. We do 4 weeks in a uniform for $99, 3 months in a uniform for $299, or come take a free class. How many moms have said to you, can we try it out? Who's ever said to you, can I try a class? Kickboxing or otherwise. Give it to them. It's at our website. It's all there. Give it to them. So imagine that. I'm playing with my kids, and in comes Kung Fu Panda with music blaring, balloons, Oh, I forgot about the bubble guns. Oh my God. Don't, because kids love freaking bubbles. Who has a bubble machine in their school? There you go. All right? I don't know why. Kids love bubbles and balloons. What is it? It's like a magnet. So we got bubble guns blowing bubbles too. We hit this park, we blitz it in 10, 15 minutes, no permits, nothing, because we're gone. We're not setting up a stationary booth. We checked into all the laws. We hit it, we're out. We hit 6 parks on a Sunday and circle back around after lunch and hit the same 6. What do you think of that? Am I crazy, or does that make sense? Because where else are they during the summer? We need to be there. The movie in the park. Same thing. So again, opportunities there. It's like the stock market. Everybody's selling their stocks and I'm buying. I'm buying now. A lot, because stocks are down. That makes sense to me. Same thing here. There's so many opportunities there for you. So who can give me an idea for summer? Let's kind of woodshed this together. Quickly. Where are people during the summer? Water parks. Yes, they are. Water parks, okay? We don't have water parks in San Francisco, but they're at water parks, right? So what do we need to do? Yeah, but what can we do? Stephen said print isn't dead, so what can we do? That little activities thing they give you when you walk into the park? Get on it. Pay to be on it. What else can we do? Libraries, sure. You know, and again, how to create that B2B is up to you. I don't know your community. Again, it's sensitive. And getting in those doors are not the easiest. Yes, ma'am? Sponsor a fun walk, sure. I look for those that are already established or credible that people trust. Absolutely. Yeah. Oh, yeah. We do that all summer long. We go to every camp within a 10-mile radius and say, bring your kids to us for a field trip. We'll do a confidence building course. We'll do a bully awareness course. Imagine the added value to their camp when they can say, this week's field trip, we're going where? Oh, one martial arts. For what? A stranger danger class. Wow. Lorenzo. Church. Yeah, church is a big one. Absolutely. Yeah. But they're all there. Stop thinking booths, demo team, school talk. Stop it. Focus on human connectivity. Focus on caring. Focus on giving back. It opens up all the doors. It opens up all the doors. And data says, right? 96% of our visitors coming to our website are not ready to buy. But do you think we can change that number if we've done all these other things in our community first? I think so. I think so. Again, data is data. I'm a businessman. I go by data. Right? Someone said that to me the other day. Well, how do you measure that? Because somebody asked me to do this, and I want to share this. They said, we want you to be part of this group where we all are challenging each other to get 100 students in 90 days. I said, we don't do that. They go, what do you mean? I don't sit with my guys that run the locations and say, this month, our goal is to get 30 trials and 30 new students. I know it sounds insane, but that instills fear. You don't get your bonus. So they're stressed out. Who's ever worked in the fitness industry? And you disappear at the end of the month because you're trying to close, you're trying to meet your quota. That's not conducive to our culture. So he said, how do you measure, if you're growing? Well, 2017, 1.95 million. 2018, 2.15 million. I'll take it. That's how I measure it. But again, don't get me wrong. I look at my bank accounts every day. I know everything in my business. I know, but I don't want to instill that fear in my culture, especially my team. Who's ever been in that position as an instructor where you're being breathed down the neck because you're not making your numbers? Raise your hand, own it. Tell me how that feels. Does that feel good? Well, I want to take care of my team because if my clients win and my team wins, I have freedom. And I don't do that by saying, if you don't make your quota of 30 new students, you don't get your bonus. Well, sir, I got rent to pay. Not my problem. That's not the culture we choose to create. So it is a little new age thinking, but the potential is not just, the potential is huge, huge. But again, I'm very clear on who I am, what I want, and what I want to produce. I used to think $1 million was a lot of money. So I did the math. Okay, I need 3,700 square feet. I need, 500 to 600 students. That'll be $1 million gross. Okay, that's what I need to do. Right? So it was very clear. And if you're clear on that, it's like getting in a car and saying, let's just drive. It doesn't happen. You need to know where you're going, how you're getting there, how much gas you need, all of the above. And vision is really important. The challenge is that 80% or so of our industry that has less than 100 students, all they do is open the door, take the money, teach the classes. How old are you, Dan?
39.
Okay, 49. Open the door, take the money, teach the classes. 59. Open the door, take the money, teach the classes. 69. Open the door, take the money, teach the classes. 79. Who has an instructor in that position? Nobody? You have no instructor that's living off his, so that's horrible. He's great because they have a skill set to be a martial arts instructor. They never adopted the skill set to be a great small business owner, and they never learned the skill set to be an entrepreneur. They're all different skill sets. Do not mistake it because you have a black belt, you know this stuff. Please. It's been the hugest learning for me. Fortunately, from my grandma, my dad, I knew small business, but I didn't understand entrepreneurship until about a decade ago. And now I work 16 hours a month in the schools. 16 hours a month. But much like Paul, if I want to go teach, because I train, I was born on a mat, I'll die on a mat, I go in anytime I want. Anytime. So if they're not ready to buy, what do? Blog. That's my biggest takeaway. I need to blog more. Mention your service to the community on certain website pages like the About Us. Let them know you donate to the PTA, you do all those different things, right? Why not? Imagine if I was scanning my youth karate page and it says, we donate to 50 silent auctions to the tune of $50,000 a year to the so-and-so school district. Ding, ding, ding. Well, let me tell Hilda, my best friend, who's the PTA president. 2 people know who I am now, right? On and on. Focus on earning trust through your copy and stop selling. Market Muscles does that really well. I hired Virginia, too, as of last night to do a bunch of editing for me. Market Muscles is using her. She's a mom with how many kids? Who knows better? But I want to take credit for that because a year or 2 ago, you weren't able to do that kind of stuff, huh? I pushed her at her school to start writing because you are the architect of your business. You are the storyteller. Learn to become a great writer if you can't write. There's nothing you can't learn. Nothing. She's a great writer. She already was, but now she has the confidence. And look what it's culminated in. Steven's her client and I'm her client. There you go. Never know what happens when you simply do your best. Everything's possible. And then believe in long-term relationships of value are built over time, not with a 1999 special. We had this conversation in the roundtable. How am I doing on time? 8 minutes? Thank you. So we had this conversation in the circle together, and I said, why do I want to come to your school versus Joe Karate down the street? Because we are a black belt school. We are a family school. All right? Everybody says that. We have quality martial arts instruction. Everybody says that. So for me as a consumer, if school A says the same thing as school B, my buying decision is based upon two elements. One, who's cheaper, and one, who's closer to my location. Do you agree? That's it. Could you imagine, and I use this as an analogy, I go to her and go, the only reason I'm dating you is because you're a cheap date and you're close to my house. That's the last date she'll go on with me, right? Right. I don't want those leads. I don't want those people in my school. I don't. But are there 1,000 good people out there? Yes. I think we're at like 1,030 because of January now. So I believe in long-term relationships. The challenge with that, because we live in fear, we market from fear, we sell from fear, we strive and thrive on instant gratification. Right now, I'm entitled. Now, who's a black belt here? Let's see if I got you beat. How long did it take you to get your black belt? 10 years or 10 years or more? 12 years or more? 13 years or more? 14. Okay? We don't teach instant gratification. So why serve instant gratification? Why? Again, shift that mindset. Shift it. Make sense? Right. But because we're in a state of fear instead of love, because we're focused on selling versus serving, we're caught in that vicious cycle. So that question that somebody shared, Zach did, the main question I get, and everywhere I go, Professor, how do I get 10 more students? I say, well, for once I'm going to break my pattern. I'm going to ask you a question. And that question is, the question should be, how do I keep the 10 I have? How do I close that back door? Kovar, one of my mentors, good friend, first thing he says is teach amazing classes. Because he understands that's the food in his restaurant. That's the product he's serving. That's it. So stop with the $19.99. You know, Paul said that. I agree with him. That kind of free, cheap stuff, you're way devaluing who you are. Girls, when you go out on a date, you want to be taken to McDonald's or a 5-star Michelin-rated restaurant? Which one? There you go. Done day. So don't sell yourself that way. And then above all, you know, I live and die by this. People above profits. I refunded $33,000 last year. 33,000. Because it's the right thing to do. If I don't serve you for any reason, you move, it's medical, you're not happy, here's a refund. That's the least you can do. But what do? We hold on to that little 169 or the 3 months. Next you know, you got a bad Yelp review. Next you know, you got a bad Google review. Next you know, the mom's standing at that bus stop, pissed off, waiting to pick up her kid. You know that one martial arts? You know, Johnny really didn't want to do this anymore. And they kept 3 months worth of my money. It's not worth it to me. It just is not. That kind of bad press doesn't work. See, some of the bigger schools that have multiple locations, or even my position, I could absorb a little bad press. The smaller school with less than 100 students, you cannot get hit with press like that. You cannot. But I understand. You got to make rent. That $169 is really important to you. But if you can see the bigger picture, see beyond this, and see the repercussions down the road, because that's what true entrepreneurship is. Yes, we open the door, take the money, teach the classes, but I'm living 3 to 5 years down the road. I know what my life is going to look like in 3 to 5 years. I'm very clear on that. I see that picture clearly. I know how much money I'm going to make. You know, we predicted Millway would be at $1 million in 4 years. We're coming up on year 4, $1,080,000 we did last year. How did we do that? Because we were very clear on how we were going to accomplish that. With the community events, with teaching better, with investing in a team, with creating the Disney experience. It's just a different focus. Service above self, you know, I'm big on that. Give more than you get. My grandma taught me that. Just whoever learned that from the grandparents or the parents. Give more than you get. Yeah, do it. It's the right thing to do. And then above all, please, I can rationalize my poor behavior to hell and back. I really can. Don't do that. Always do the right thing. And I know we hear that a lot, but do we live that? Do we live that? You know, I can profess fitness to you because I'm 57 and I train. I can do that. I don't drink. I don't smoke. You know, I can do that. I can profess that to you. That's important. I live a disciplined life. That's my choice. It's conducive to what I do. So always do the right thing, not just by people, but by yourself, please. And I want to leave you with that. I spoke to a school owner the other day, and he's 55. He has 30 students on the second floor in New York. He's living in an apartment with his wife and kids, and he has some job. I told him to close the school. He says, nobody told me that. They said for $1,000 a month, they would save my school. I said, well, sir, you got a bad hip, you got a bad knee, you're broken down. Every piece of data is shared to me. You've had other consultants. Every piece of data indicates to me that this is not going to happen. He says, so you're not going to take my $1,000 a month? I said, no, I'm not. Just like Stephen wouldn't take his money for a website. This is what I align with. This is why I love Stephen. Stephen could have very easily milked this guy for a couple months with a website, and this guy would have gone broke anyways, because there's so many things internally that are wrong with his business. And he came to me because Stephen had him talk to me, and I told him, I can't take your money. And he cried. Who cried in a round circle yesterday? Why is that? Yeah, because what we can do better than, and I know there's dog lovers in here and everything, but what we can do better than anybody in this whole world is we can connect. Don't we do that on the mat every day? Right? Do that in your marketing. Do that in your website. Do that in everything in your life, and you're going to stand out heads and tails above everybody. Then you'll be able to answer that simple question, why do I want to come to your school versus Joe Karate down the street? It'll already be answered. Thank you very much.